We're in beautiful New Baltimore, Michigan. We're replacing a failed triple wall underground buried downspout system with our 3.5-inch system. And they used a combination of triple wall and PVC. They didn't glue it, so it leaked at every hub and every seam. We call it the Landscaper's Special. A lot of job security. A lot of job security. The grass grew over every single pop-up. It's a really tall rise. That line was really deep. That line was always full of water and it froze in the winter. So we see this all the time, is why I'm starting to film it. I want you guys to know all these Landscaper Special underground roof runoff systems, they don't work. They fail. And when you're thinking they're working and you're relying on them to work, water damage is silent. You don't know the damage it's causing you. When you can finally see damage visually, it is too late. Usually it'll start shaling and taxing the brick veneer on these beautiful brick veneer homes, which is a shame. And then when water gets behind the brick veneer, it rots the rough lumber. It's a shame, but by the time you visually see damage, it's really bad. So just because the landscaper gave you a good price and you think, oh wow, well, I killed two birds with one stone here. I got this guy putting in my landscape and he's doing my downspouts for $300 a pop. They're going to charge you $300 for this, and there's maybe $20 worth of stuff. So look at this. Big gap right here, no glue. So what good is this? That's it. That's where they ran it. What good is this, man? 5 feet. That's all they ran it, was 5 feet. That's what you get when you hire the landscaper. He's doing your landscape and you're offered an option. There's usually a line that's there for option. Hey, we'll bury your downspouts for $300 a piece or something ridiculous, right? And they show up with $20 worth of parts for each downspout. So right here, the triple wall. This triple wall is really cheap. It's garbage. It's actually the cheapest pipe that you can possibly run downspouts with. And it's garbage. All right, so a pop-up went right here. There's the downspout. This does absolutely nothing. So right here, all this water was just being dumped. It just kept this corner completely saturated. It didn't do what it's supposed to do. This water needs to be taken further away. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the water further away. We're going to go downgrade. We're going to get this water out of here. So through capillary action, all this water is being wicked to the house. But that's why I tell everybody, try to get 20 feet. Your absolute minimum has to be 15 feet. But running them 5, 6, 7 feet, this is doing nothing. All this water is being wicked right back to the house. The brick veneering goes right down to grade. So that brick veneering, it's so wet. You can see how wet it is. Over time, that brick veneering is going to get taxed. And yeah, it takes time and it's silent and you don't know the damage is occurring until one day you look and all your brick veneering is shaling and falling off. And then you know your rough lumber is rotted. So this only went a few feet. Pointless. It's a cash grab for the landscaper. Like I said before, this is job security for us. You know, we basically follow these guys. All the stuff they put in, the homeowner eventually sees that it's not working and it's wet behind the house or on the side of the house or in front of the house. You can see how far we're running this. We didn't stop after 5 or 10 feet. We have to get to where there's a lot of slope and the grade breaks. It's the only way you're going to be able to run the water away from the house. So I would put this run minimum 25 feet right here. 25, 30 feet this run is. We do this on every job. Now this is our Pro Kit. We are installing our Pro Kits. Our Pro Kit has a 4-inch dual wall riser that comes off a Not Quite a 90. You want to use the Not Quite a 90. The Not Quite a 90 is going to give you automatic slope. It's going to put you and send you right into your pitch that you need to run water away from the house. Now we're using a 3.5-inch pipe. You can see it is working great for getting underneath these sprinkler lines. We can't get a 4-inch pipe through these sprinkler lines. We'd have to cut these lines and we'd have to reroute these lines. And anytime that we don't have to be cutting a line, I want to keep that line's integrity. If it is a solid poly line like this line and it's ran from the valve boxes all the way to the sprinklers, last thing I want to do is have to splice these lines. They're better if you don't splice them. If you can put in a roof runoff system without molesting your underground buried downspout system, that's worth thousands of dollars, by the way, it's in your best interest. So this triple wall, man, this stuff it's just the cheapest stuff there is, man. And because it's called triple wall, people think, oh, it's got to be strong. They call it triple wall. No, that's because it's just 3 layers of a laminate, and they literally take 3 layers. There's an outside, an inside, and a core, and it's thin. They're all thin. All layers are thin, and they just adhere that together. And I will say this, the laminate does come apart. So, and it doesn't have no UV protection. It cracks in the sun. No, we know the truth. We love triple wall. It's job security. So we're coring under the sidewalk right here. This one wasn't even ran under the sidewalk. This one literally was just ran to the sidewalk, doing absolutely nothing, causing this home harm for sure. So this is a process that you just got to be patient with, and you do have to account for this, and you got to figure it into your quote. But it's worth it when you get an underground buried downspout system that's ran correctly. It's lifetime. If it's got a leaf filter and it has a catch basin, it can never clog. This is going to catch all the organics. The catch basins that we put in, they catch all the shingle gravel. As long as the homeowner shop vacs it out, you know, every 2 years. The older the roof, the more shingle gravel that comes off that roof. So this is a black catch basin top. It looks great in the landscapes. All 3.5 inch catch basin, not quite a 90. Here's the not quite a 90 that goes to 3.5. You can see it's on slope, automatic slope. That's why it's called not quite a 90. It is not a 90, but it replaces a 90. We're going to go with a big pop-up emitter. When we have a turf plate, instead of this little pop-up, it's impossible for the grass just to swallow it up. It's real easy to maintain. A couple times a year, you cut the grass out around your pop-up, but these literally get lost in the grass. The grass grows over them in a minute, and that's it. The system doesn't even matter what pipe it's ran with. It's just rendered useless in no time. So we stopped using pop-ups because of that, and we started using catch basins. We discharge our lines to catch basins, but then mosquitoes were breeding in the catch basins, and we got complaints about it. So that's when we made our own pop-up. Literally, when push came to shove, we literally had to make our own pop-up. It sounds crazy, but that's what it took to have a really good emitter. So we have 3.5 inch line going in. This stuff is so heavy. This stuff is actually thicker than our 4-inch, which our 4-inch is stupid thick. Our 4-inch is 5 times thicker than the Home Depot pipe. So, you know, when I say that the 3.5 is even thicker yet, that's saying something. So remember, always go to the female on your catch basin with the direction of flow. The pipe is the acting male. Male to female. Then now the coupler becomes the male, and then the pipe is the acting female. So you can see how now the coupler goes inside the pipe versus the pipe going inside the coupler. So male to female with direction of flow, that's plumbing. Beautiful job right here. I love this. They got one piece of pipe from the leaf filter to here. Now this water's coming off a 2-story and it's hitting this, and it's just gonna come, you know, screaming through here like it's on a luge after a 2-story fall. And then it's gonna start to slow down after this turn. This turn, it's gonna lose a little bit of its energy. It's gonna start to slow down. We're gonna grab the shingle gravel where the water decelerates. Always tape up right where the pipe meets the coupler, but also tape up where the coupler meets the catch basin. This is a really good seal. We build lifetime systems. This is not going to have to get tore out like this triple wall. This is not going to happen to our system. Nobody's coming in behind us and having to remove our system. So we got a sprinkler line here, no problem. 3.5-inch line goes under it. All right, so there was no catch basin on this. And as Dirk just pointed out to me, this thing's full of shingle gravel. So here's your PVC pipe. So this is all smooth wall, and it all went to a pop-up. And guys say, oh, I don't need a catch basin. I got smooth wall pipe. All right, whatever. It doesn't just magically disappear, guys. It's still there. So this pipe, the whole thing, that whole pipe is just full of shingle gravel. It's really heavy. When we tear this stuff out, it has a lot of weight to it because of that. All right, so we're gonna cut this PVC pipe for you. We're gonna It's always fun to see what's inside. So you don't need a catch basin with PVC pipe. Okay, all right. That's what they say. You got a smooth bottom pipe. You don't need a catch basin with a PVC pipe is what they tell us. All right, guys, don't believe all the lies that are being told on social media. You do need a catch basin with PVC pipe. Look at that. So this clogged and it failed, and the guy seen the water running over his gutter, and here we are. You know, it's just full of shingle gravel. It's 4-inch pipe on 2x3 downspouts. It always is a terrible idea to put 4-inch pipe on 2x3 downspouts. We talk about this all the time. Run a smaller diameter pipe. If this was 3-inch pipe, it would have probably stood a better chance of actually trying to squirt some of that out. If that's what you're up to, you're trying to get away from the catch basin and you're trying to bypass it and get it to pass all that shingle gravel. I think it's a terrible idea not to have a catch basin on a line regardless of the pipe. And hey, as they always say, the proof's in the pudding. So there it is. This is textbook. We got 2x3 downspouts on a pretty good sized house. You know, we got water coming off the 2nd story onto the 1st story, and it gets caught in the 1st story gutters. We got 2x3s. Now they're going to be, you know, maxed out. We're pushing a lot of water on this house. We know that. So we got these 2x3 downspouts, 3.5. 3.5. That one, 3.5. But instead of keeping the line on 3.5, when this comes together, this 3.5-inch line, that 3.5-inch line, right here, we're going to merge it to a 4-inch main. It's going to be maxed out. Check this out. Big run. Right here, big run. Off that 2nd story. Maxed out 2x3. Because there's not another downspout until you get to the other corner of the house. So this one, and then this main line that has 2 downspouts, they're going to merge right here. So right here, we're using 3.5-inch line to a 4-inch wide. So this is a 4 to 3.5 reducer. The guy's already got it taped up. But you cut a little piece of 4-inch pipe and you snap it into the hub. And then you snap it into the hub of the other fitting, and then you go ahead and seal it. That's what you do. So this is a 3.5 to 4 reducer. We're going to get it on a 4-inch main. Now this happens to be our new Y. The flow, when it hits right here at the bottom of the Y, it picks up velocity. So we use a flat nose bucket to get a smooth bottom trench. Everybody wants to know, how do you get your trenches so smooth? Right there. That flat nose bucket just leaves the trench beautiful. Valente follows up and shaves down any spots that he may see, but this trench is completely flat. Has a nice slope, and it's efficient. On top of that, it's extremely efficient. It doesn't take all day to make that trench flat at the bottom. So we're under the walk now on a riser with a not quite a 90. These are our Pro kits. Now this line is going to merge with this line. We're going to use a 3.5 inch Y, and we're going to be fine. Picture perfect. I mean picture perfect downspout line. It don't get any better than this. Let me take you through it and tell you what makes this line such a great underground buried downspout run. We're 30 feet from the house. That's what this is. I measured it. It's 30 feet. Get that water far away from the house. Right here, look at this. One piece. Check this out. You can't do this with PVC. Sorry, PVC, you can't do this. This is one piece. We put some dirt here just to hold it down. We're backfilling. One piece, all the way to the catch basin. Now, as this landscape grows up and as those shrubs get big, no roots can get in it. Nothing can happen to that line. It's one piece from the catch basin all the way to the pop-up. Picture perfect. Now, we needed 2 risers on this catch basin to get that to grade. Well done. Really quick, easy, fast. You just set the risers in place. It's a watertight seal, no screws, no glue. Beautiful. Right here, we got our not quite a 90 with the riser, the leaf filter. Textbook underground buried downspout system. It doesn't get any better than what you see here. All right, so always stand on the pipe when you're backfilling. You'll notice the guys always stand on it. They got to cut up these clay chunks so that we can tightly pack this around the pipe, hold the pipe down. So instead of moving bushes and decorative rock and all kinds of craziness, we just put the catch basin out here. It's fine. This water's coming off a 2-story, and it's going to be moving. You got to figure, as water falls, it picks up speed. Right here, same thing. Instead of trying to get a catch basin in over there, we waited till we got underneath the sidewalk. This is going to work out a lot better. Now, we have these Pro kits installed, so we can put the garden hose through the leaf filter, push it through the not quite a 90, run water through this while pushing the hose through this, and chase all the shingle gravel to the catch basin. And you could do that, you know, once a year just for a peace of mind. It being a 3.5 inch pipe, I think it's going to keep the velocity and all the sediment moving, and it's going to make its way to the catch basin. All right, so make sure you tape your Ys. Our Y fittings have these barbed fittings. You don't need to tape it to hold it on. You can't get it off, but we do tape it so that we can seal it up. You don't want water blowing out at this hub. You don't need to be losing water at a Y fitting. When you have these 2 flows of water during a really hard rain merging to one flow, it's going to try to blow this hub right here. That last hub that goes into this main discharge line that's going to be flowing the water from those 2 downspouts, it's going to get tested. And there's going to be some pounds per square inch. There's going to be some pressure buildup during the really big rains when these lines are both full of water and they're trying to funnel into one line. Right there, that'll keep that water from blowing out of that hub. I just want to show this. This is textbook. This is perfect. Have a real nice rise on this riser to the leaf filter. Look how shallow this is. That's the not quite a 90 right there. There's the top of it because we tape right there. Do not tape by the leaf filter right here. No need for that. But you do want to tape here so you don't end up with water building up and squirting out right here, because under real torrential rains, as this line fills up, the water is going to come up here and it's going to be building up head pressure, which is good. It's designed for that. But the fact that the guys started so shallow and it's not quite a 90 is so high, it helps them get nice slope on this line. You don't want to start out deep. You want to start out as shallow as you can. A lot of people get to the end of the line and they're like, why do I need 3 risers on my pop-up emitter? Well, you started out too deep, possibly, and then maybe you had too much slope. And if your yard is completely flat and there's no slope there, sometimes you do have to run a downspout line flat. But as long as the riser is nice and tall like this on a flat run, you'll be fine. Look how nice this works, this 3.5 inch, look at that. It goes under all the sprinkler lines. We have a sprinkler main here. We got another sprinkler main there. We got another sprinkler main right there. And we're not done. We got another sprinkler main. But we would not be able to get 4-inch pipe through here. And if we tried to put 4-inch pipe through here, we'd be too deep. Now we'd need like 2 or 3 risers on our pop-up, and you don't want that. In a perfect world, you want no risers on your pop-up. In a perfect world. That way you're holding less water in the line. All right, so the Landscaper Special for $300, it just ended right there. It only ran 5 feet. That whole corner is saturated. That pad where the generator is starting to tilt. Just, you want to get that water away from all your structures. Over here, we're now 20 feet away. So our downspout kits come with 19 feet of pipe. The catch basin gives you another 15 inches. So that's why I tell people, look, our kit gets you 20 feet out. Like even the not quite a 90 on the Pro kit kicks you off the house 8 inches. Keep in mind that 50% of the installs need a riser on the catch basin. 50%. Doesn't matter if it's a yard drain, doesn't matter if it's a roof runoff catch basin. Most people just take a catch basin and they lift it up, and now the line goes up and it has a hump in it, and that's terrible for your drainage system. You don't want that. You want the line running nice and flat to the bottom of the trench. But 50% of the time you will need a riser. Just keep that in mind. Sometimes people grab a riser, you know, at our online store when they buy our catch basins. That way they're equipped at the time of install. Now another thing to keep in mind, that riser for a catch basin is the same riser for pop-up emitters, and it fits on PVC as well as our not quite a 90. All of our stuff is universal so that you don't have all these different parts for all these different things. There was no need for it. Always put pea stone around your pop-up emitter, always. And don't tape your pop-up emitter on, never. And after a rain, and after all that bulk water runs through this line, what's left down here at the end near the pop-up, that's going to leach right at that fitting. As long as it's not taped on, it could leach away into the subsurface soil. Just cover the stone so that when you put the dirt on top of it, the dirt's not filling the stone. When the voids of the stone get filled with dirt, now it's not going to have its leaching properties that make it work so well for you. So look at that, one piece of pipe from the pop-up emitter goes under 1 sprinkler line, 2 sprinkler lines, 4 sprinkler mains to the catch basin. One piece of pipe. PVC can't do that. So you have all these different connections, and then the guys, they don't glue them. And the reason why they don't glue them is so that when it freezes and the whole system goes up, and then we have a thaw and the ground goes back down, if you glue them, it just cracks when it moves during the freeze and thaw. So now roots can get in them because they don't glue them. I don't know. None of it makes sense to me. I don't know. Sorry, but it's corrugated pipe for us all day long. All day, every day. All right, so I'm going to show you what this looks like. This is a 3.5 inch coupler on our not quite a 90. It's the male adapter. You want to tape up where the coupler snaps in, male to female. It snaps into the pipe. And then you also want to tape where the coupler meets the not quite a 90. You just want to seal this up real good. This is a watertight seal. I mean, it's rated to last 200 years. And we won't be around to know if it makes it 200 years, but what I can tell you is I've never seen it fail. It ain't like duct tape. It's not like any of the other kinds of tapes. So this is a Pro kit, so it has a not quite a 90, and it has a riser. Now for homeowners that are doing the easy DIY kit, the kit 10, you literally just click the 3.5 inch pipe onto a 3.5 inch leaf filter adapter, and then the pipe itself has a soft like 80-degree bend, and I highly recommend it in cases like this. That's why we made the easy DIY kit, so you're not cutting cement footings and you're not having to measure and cut a riser, and then you're not taping on both sides of not quite a 90. It's just easier for the homeowner. It just is. It takes 3 or 4 steps out of this installation process. And that's why it was important for me to make a homeowner's easy DIY kit. It's known as our Kit 10 in our online store. Go to our Kit 10. Our Kit 10 is the easiest downspout system to install for a homeowner. You could be all thumbs, you could own 0 tools, and if you just come with a little ambition, you can connect it all, and it works really well. So it's super muddy, really muddy. So what the guys do is they blow all those dirt clods, mud clods, and they blow it, before they put the sod back, they blow it on top of the trench. And then they just walk it down flat. Work smarter, not harder. That's what you want to do. If you have somebody helping you at the time of backfill, right here, just ask them to step back 10 feet, 10, 15 feet, and look to see if this is straight, because you might have to move it left or right a little bit to get this nice and straight. It's something that we do. We work together as a team to get all these downspouts to run perfectly straight. As soon as they're on an angle, the eye's drawn to that, and we don't want the eye drawn to that. When you backfill your downspout line, stand on the pipe, cut the clay chunks up in little pieces, pack it in real good. You see how the guys did this? Like every 5 feet, every 5 feet. You know, there's a process when you're backfilling it. The big worry and the big concern is if the dirt rolls underneath the pipe, it'll raise the pipe, because the pipe is light. That's why it's so easy for homeowners to install. It's lightweight. So we're throwing away the Landscaper Special Underground Buried Downspout System. Homeowner said it wasn't working. They ran smooth wall pipe and said they didn't need catch basins for shingle gravel, yet the line's plugged. He had water just pouring over, and of course most of them were only ran 5 feet away from the house, and they're doing absolutely nothing. 5 to 10 feet is not enough. But hey, you know what? It looked good on paper. The landscaper said he'd do the downspouts for $300 a piece, and it was a cash grab because he gave him about $20 in material. And this is where it ended up. Job security for the French Drainman team. I think the crew did a great job. Look at this. So this is the after. This is not the before, this is the after. Isn't it something that you could run 30 feet, dig a trench through somebody's yard on a muddy day, and then it looks this good? Now we ran into roots and junk, no big deal. Of course, the grass grew over all of those. Not anymore. Got a catch basin for the shingle gravel. Got the leaf filter for organic material. Then we have a nice turf plate right here for the pop-up emitter. Doesn't get any better than that. Each and every component that we put together was carefully thought out and designed by the very guys who install them. So the guys are going to Y that one in. If your line is nice and straight, the velocity of the water is going to really stay up. You're not going to lose any velocity. If it's a line that meanders, every time it meanders, it's slowing down in each and every bend. Never use a T when you're tying a downspout line into a downspout line. It just slams the water to a stop. You lose all your velocity. So right now it's easier to tape that first connection. As soon as you connect the second connection, it becomes a struggle to tape the hubs. So don't put it all together and then go to tape all the hubs. Get a few easy hubs. You really want to make sure that you tape these up so you have a nice watertight seal. Now this pipe is very elastic, and so is the tape that we use. In the freeze and thaw, this can move up and down. If this ever froze, which I don't ever foresee that happening, this whole system can swell up, and then when it thaws out, it contracts. PVC can't do that. It's why corrugated pipe is superior to PVC. So notice how we had one piece of pipe from the leaf filter to the catch basin. Now we have one piece of pipe from the catch basin all the way to this Y hub. Isn't that nice? PVC can't do that. PVC is going to have a glue joint every 10 feet, and then every time you make a turn, you got to put a fitting in and glue it in. And then when the ground starts to go down, As the ground goes down, you have to sometimes put 22-degree fittings on PVC and then turn them a certain way, because when the angle picks up, the PVC will just go out straight because it's stiff. Corrugated pipe can bend as the grade goes down. People don't think about that. So you're going to need all these fittings when you do a PVC system. So look at this, under the sprinkler line. Look at that. That is beautiful. This is great. Only 3.5 is doing this. You're not going to do this with 4-inch pipe. You're not. So that sprinkler line, we don't have to molest. I love that we don't have to cut it and then bend it over a 4-inch pipe. And a 4-inch pipe, if you try to dig it deep enough to where it goes under the sprinkler line, you're going to have what's known as a belly in the line. So the bottom of this trench is perfectly smooth. You'll see once we connect this to the catch basin, that line is laying flat on the bottom of the trench now. Remember, that's got to connect to the female hub on the catch basin. The female hub right there, and then the male on this end. Because it's got to be male to female with the direction of flow. Alright, so the guys did a beautiful job sealing that Y up. So this was a turn that this pipe actually made. This actually turned with our 3.5. Our 3.5 is connected, and we could just tilt the not quite a 90 a little bit like that. Can't do that with PVC, you just can't. We have two 3.5s going to one 4-inch main pipe here. Now there's not a female hub on the other side of this Y. It is a male hub. And this is something that we've been working on for a few years now. The guys that are in our network knew about it, and they knew why we were doing it, and they supported it. Everybody wanted a male to female 4-inch Y because you're flowing so much water with a 4-inch line. Because we're going to have 3 downspouts that are pretty maxed out on this line. So at this point, we want to go to 4-inch. Instead of merging this 3.5 and this 3.5 up here, and then you got to try to get the 4-inch under a sprinkler line and it's not going to work, just keep running that 3.5. Merge it out a little further. You can do that, and then get to your 4-inch line. You're typically not going to find any sprinkler mains out this far. Again, they're just up around the house. They're in close. So this is going to be male to female. This pipe was the acting male, and then there's female hubs on the Y over here. This right here is a male hub, first Y of its kind, and look at this. There's no way that when you merge these two flows of water that it can blow through that hub now. You're not going to blow water out of this hub. So now we're going to put tape on this just for a watertight seal. And that's it. And we don't have to like put a half a roll of tape on it like we always had to for that one hub, because this one hub is going to be under a lot of stress when you're merging two maxed out lines and you're trying to create two flows of water. Perfect. Beautiful. Real nice work. That's perfect. All right, so we got one piece of pipe from the not quite a 90 to the catch basin, one piece of pipe from the catch basin over to this 4-inch Y where we're merging these two lines. Then we have one piece of pipe right here, and it goes all the way up to this catch basin. Don't have to worry about root intrusion. You don't have to worry about lines coming apart. Nothing stronger than one continuous piece of extra heavy duty virgin corrugated pipe. This is the highest quality underground roof runoff system that you can install. Those barbed fittings hold so well that this will never come apart. The tape is not for strength. The tape is just to make it a watertight seal. This was an amazing installation of an underground buried downspout system. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions regarding this installation, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.